All right, what's up, D? How we doing today, man?
Chad, what's going on, brother? You good, man?
I'm doing good. Doing good. We're in the middle almost of Thanksgiving week,
Yes.
right? We got Thanksgiving
Yes.
coming up. We're
Are
here.
you ready? Are you ready? What you got going on, man? You
And
staying at the house or what's going
I'm
on?
staying home. I've actually gone through I guess you could say some health issues. I've not contracted, but I had some vertigo, dizziness going on for about
Really?
a few months, and
Really?
it knocked me out. I was bedridden for a few weeks,
Wow.
and kind of just wiped me out. So I'm kind of was starting over. So we were gonna go up north to visit some family and
Okay.
high elevation. We're like, I'm gonna stay
Yeah, it may
home.
not be good. Yeah, it may not be good, man. So I know you Vegas bound, but are you kind of like family wise? I know you're from there, but is your mom, dad, everybody like born and
Yeah,
raised
no,
pretty
we're
much?
not. We're originally from like the Salt Lake City, Utah area.
Oh, nice.
Moved out here to Nevada when I was 11, and so
Oh,
my
wow.
parents are still here.
Hmm.
My wife, her parents used to live here. They've now separated in kind of different areas and stuff. So,
Right.
but
Okay.
yeah, we're still in Vegas. We pretty much stay here, and we have Thanksgiving up north, and usually
Nice.
Christmas here. So,
Good,
but
man.
man, so
Yeah, man.
we've known each other for a long time, and I'm still pissed because I got released in 2008 by the Angels when you and I were in spring training together.
Really?
And
I remember we went spring training. I just remember me personally going through my own, trying to just hang on to my career at that time. You
yes,
know?
we were in the same boat. We're like, I
Yeah.
was 30 years old. You're probably 29 at that
I
time.
was 29 at the time. Yeah.
Right? I was telling you earlier, our careers are like so similar. It's hilarious.
Very similar, man.
But
Very
yeah,
similar,
I
man.
got released in 2008 by the Angels, and that was it for me. I went home.
Really?
That was I was done. So, but let's backtrack. Let's go way back with you
Sure.
because you
Sure.
were second round pick in '96 by the Royals, but you
First round pick. First
first
round
round
pick.
pick. I'm sorry, excuse me. We're
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about Taylor Myers.
Taylor. We're talking about Taylor. Yeah. Taylor was the second round
Let's
pick.
get
Yeah.
this right. Taylor was second. You were
Yeah.
first.
Yep. 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 And that's why we were talking in the background. And shout out to my boy Taylor. I haven't seen him in forever, but we played in the high school tournament with a couple of your guests, Nick Day and Taylor. They were high school teammates, right? Were they from your
Yeah,
high school
we're all
too,
high
right?
school teammates.
God,
Yeah,
you guys
we were
must
little
have been
league
a
teammates.
powerhouse, huh?
We were little league teammates.
So you guys must have been powerhouse all the way up, man. Lord have
We
mercy.
went to the World Series when we were 13 and 15. So
No way.
we're pretty good. We're pretty good.
Yeah, I can only imagine, man. You talking about a first round pick, a second round pick, and Nick. I mean, I don't know, but Nick played along, Stanford D1 caliber, and he was a stud. And then,
Yeah.
but yeah, man, so Taylor's a second round pick. I was a first round pick out of New York, in '96, by the Royals. I was a football and baseball player in high school. Had signed a full letter of intent, had a full ride to University of Maryland. I was a running back, and football was my first love. But first round started coming around in baseball, and I was blessed. I had, my show that I do. I had my high school teammate was a year old. Your draft. He was a third round pick. Your draft. He drew a lot of attention to our high school, and he was a third round pick by the Braves. And I kind of piggyback off that momentum that he
Yeah.
had, the 15 plus scouts every time he pitched for about 2 years coming around, and I did my thing, and I was blessed with opportunity to get drafted the first round, based off the momentum that he had built the year
Who was
before.
that? Who was that player?
Rob Bell, do you ever know
Oh,
Rob
yeah.
Bell?
Reds
You
pitcher.
know, yeah,
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 sure.
yeah. So, but me and Rob went to high school together, and so yeah, I think Rob got a little over 5 some years himself in the major leagues, multiple teams, and so yeah, I played 16 years professionally. We talked about '08, and I lasted during that season. I struggled with injuries, and by the grace of God, a year later, I was back in trips and with the Dodgers, and I had a really good year. I was healthy that year, and I got blessed to play my last 2 years in Japan. I was up and down parts of 8 years in the major leagues. The call ups, the ups and downs, the taking off the rosters, put back on.
Yeah.
Yeah, from about 1998 all the way to 2007 was the last time I was in the major leagues here in the States. So 16 years professionally, and I've been retired now, just chasing after my daughter and running my programs and stuff like that, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And you said you have a daughter that's playing tennis. Is that right?
Yeah, I got a daughter, man. We've had her in tennis since she was 3, turning 4. And barely, yeah. So she's been swinging it for a while, and so yeah, we've been at it. High level tennis player, travel, mainly all throughout the southeast. With this tennis thing, man. So yeah, she's high level. She's turning 13 on Sunday. Yep.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
Now, do you get out there and play with her?
I did. I
You did.
did. I was. We have not played since I was. I mean, since she's 12, turning 13. I think she was like 9, turning 10. That's the last time I was really out there with her, and my bunions flared up on me. My knee swelled up. I had to really like work hard to beat her. But now, I won't ever say she probably will get me, but just put it like this, physically, I don't I'm in worse shape I was 3 years ago, and I don't play tennis as much, so I kind of, she always had coaches anyway. I was one of those that just get out there, hit with her, and but now it's to the point where, yeah, no, she's high level. She's too much for me a little
I
bit
hear
right
you.
now. Yeah.
Tennis is a fun sport. It's a different animal, a lot of movement. That's why we were outfielders, right? We ran out to
Exactly.
the outfield and we just stood there.
That's right. That's right. Run 1, 2 down, maybe a game. Hopefully, get the opportunity to throw somebody out, whatever. But I don't know about you, Chad, but you probably a little bit more 5 tool than I was. But listen, I love hitting. That was my aspect. That was what I loved about the game of baseball, was flat out hitting. If it wasn't anything else, regarding baseball, Dee Brown wasn't gonna be playing it. I live for
There's low
hitting.
interest there, right?
Oh my God. And that was my issue. You know what I'm saying? The professional rankings. It was like I loved everything when it came to that one-on-one matchup, that pitcher catch, that pitcher and hitter, matchup. I loved every aspect of that part. The rest it was just I had to, just do it. That was the job part. The other part was just a competitive nature, which I love, was that chess match between that pitcher and Dee Brown, at the
Yeah,
plate.
absolutely. I'm curious because I know you remember you were a football player and you're running back, and you're a big dude,
Yeah.
right? What
Yeah.
what what was your size in high school?
I was about 6 feet 1. I came into high school at 175. I graduated right around 212, 215.
Yeah,
And my playing weight professionally was like 235. Hmm.
as a play, yeah.
Yeah,
So
as a player.
I'm just thinking like a brick house coming through, and linebacker just like, no, I'm not interested in that. I'm gonna.
And it'd be, people would think that because of my size, but I used to. I mean, I had favorite running backs, but the running back that I felt my game really tailored, literally was tailored by, was, I don't know if you remember, his name was Fred Taylor, with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Played about 12 years, played in the old Spurrier, in the 90s, college there, and then played a long time with the Jaguars. And he was like a big dude, like 6 feet 6'1", 225, but he could catch the ball, and he was a big, 225, ish, and but he had a little wiggle about him, and that was me. I prided myself, yeah, I was a big dude, but I had quick feet, I mean, I was one of those shifty type of dudes where you ain't, I wasn't looking to truck you over. That really was not my game. My game was like the first 5 yards. If I got to get the tough yards, but after I get past those linebackers, I'm trying to run around those D-backs, not run them over. I'm trying to run around. I'm trying to go to the house. So,
Okay.
that was my, way of running. And Fred Taylor, I used to like at that time, he was playing in around the same time. And I was like, man, his game is like mine. I just, real darty, real quick, shifty movements. Run a guy over if he needs to, but ran hard. But he had his shiftiness. So I had a little wiggle, put it like that. I had a little wiggle
Your
with
inner
the
Barry
D-back.
Sanders, right?
Well, yeah. Hey, Barry on a whole other level. You know what I'm saying? Nobody, too much like the Barrys and whatever. But like I said, Fred Taylor, like I said, had solid career in the NFL. That was more
Yeah,
on my speed.
yeah. Well, that's interesting because I'm in Vegas. It's a very where we could play baseball 10, 11 months out of year. You were in
Right,
New York where
right.
you had to choose, and that's a little obviously a lot easier to go play multiple sports there.
Yeah.
What was it ultimately that led you to baseball? Was it because you were a first round pick and like, hey, this is a pretty
Yeah.
good,
Yeah. I mean, because I played since I was about 8.
yeah,
I played all three at the same age. organized ball, so it was just routine. Um, and I say football is my first love, but all periodically through high school, I mean through elementary, middle, and Bo Jackson was my guy. Like, it was. Then I went through a little period in junior high where I was like seventh grade. I thought I was gonna, be good in basketball and maybe I could do this and NBA. But then once eighth grade hit, I never got no taller. My game, football and baseball going like this, and
Peaked already.
basketball, huh? Yeah, it
You
was peak.
peaked already.
I peaked. Yeah, I already. I saw it very quickly. The writing was on the wall for me. I enjoyed basketball, but it wasn't. But anyway, my then it became really like football and baseball. But baseball was always um, I enjoyed it, but it was never like where it was like my priority, my main, you know. And it wasn't until, like I said, I Rob got drafted in June. I was getting attention from the scouts. I knew, they were there and watching me. But it wasn't until one day in Legion Ball, after or before a game, my head coach met me in the parking lot and it was like, yo, you really need to take this baseball thing serious. I know you football, 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 but baseball, these scouts are saying that you have a chance to go higher than Rob. And so I started doing two and two in my head. I was like, it was easy math. I was like, well, Rob is a third round pick. That just means that I have a chance to go first or second round, right? So I was like, well, maybe I need to get that, that baseball, more of a shot. And then maybe a month later, I went to Erico games and in California, and I did fairly well out there. But once I left out of the Erico games, I was the number one outfielder in the country, and all the scouts and everything, the agents, everything started coming from that point on, and I knew pretty much from my senior year on, the football season wise, I was going to be potentially a top 15 pick, barring any injuries, anything crazy like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and you were right. You were what, 14th pick, right?
14th. Yep. 14th in the
Absolutely.
country. Yep.
Very cool.
Yep.
So you leave football behind. You're
Right.
focusing on your baseball career,
Hmm.
and you had some, like myself and a lot of
Yeah.
many players, we have our ups and downs in the
Yeah.
minor leagues and in the
Yeah.
big leagues.
Yeah.
What was some of the adversity that you went through as a player?
Man, I remember '98 Carolina League. You Lynchburg. You remember, right? We were up in Wilmington, and I think you probably did there the year before. You weren't there that year. Were you there in '98? You were
98.
going.
That was my first year in Nashville in AAA.
Damn. Okay, you was jumping through the system fast. Yeah. So, but yeah. So '98 was my first. That was in the Carolina League, and I was getting my butt handed to me. First time I ever struggled. I mean, I was going through the 1 for 42s, the 6 for 70 something. I was on like true. I call it. I say it, and I don't say it tongue in cheek, and meaning like, I don't joke about it too much, but because I was really in my head at the time. But I was on suicide alert. Like I was literally. I've never struggled in baseball. We all had little slumps. A 1 for 10 in high school would mean everything, whatever. But like, I just came off the year before. I won the MVP out in Northwest League. I was on the team with Beltron and we were doing well. I was the one, I was like the scrub of the team, and I was supposed to be the top, prospect of that team. And man, and it took, I mean, I was really struggling and it was literally right before I really had a cell phone. So I had a regular landline. So I used to take the phone off the hook. I just didn't want to get nobody calling me. And then my cousin got killed in Brooklyn in June of 1998. And we're the same age. I ain't seen him about since I was about 16, 17. And the Royals let me go up. We're in Wilmington, Delaware, so it was only 2 hour ride up to New York. And I went to the funeral. And it just put things in perspective, man. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, I'm playing a child's game. You know what I'm saying? Playing baseball, and I'm so caught up in this whole, like, my world is coming to an end because I'm going through these slump in the first half, and then I see my man in the box over there, and I was just like, where he, living in the hood like literally he got killed over a basketball game. A kid got offended how he was talking to him, junk to him in a basketball game and killed him over that. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, this thinking like, who am I to sit and be mad and worried and all of that? Where my man, my family member just got killed based off of feelings being hurt. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, so I came back second half, took off, and I ended up getting my first call up that year. And so that made it good. But then the year 2000 is probably my most trying year. Coming up, I was struggling again in the first half of AAA. That was my first year in AAA. It was 2000, and I remember struggling in the first half, and I got taken out of a game. Maybe the night before, my mom's had just had a lump found in her breast, and my brother called me because my mother didn't want to tell me. My brother called me that night and was like, "Yo, mom, she ain't trying to tell you because she wants you to concentrate on board, but I just want to let you know that they found a lump in her breast and they may think it's cancer." My grandmother died from breast cancer, so I was thinking the worst. I was whatever. The next day, my mom wasn't even on baseball, and I hit 2 home runs the night before, which is crazy. I was struggling. Ryan Franklin, remember St. Louis, Seattle Mariners. Ryan Franklin, I had 2 bombs off of him. I was just kind of feeling good, and then all of a sudden, that phone call, and the next day I just wasn't having it, and I didn't want to play. We had one of those, the mid PCL midweek day game type things, and man, I didn't run the ball out hard enough for them, and the whole brass is in town, and my manager took me out the game, and I cursed him out, man. I cursed him out, call him on time, whatever. We got each other. You've been to Omaha, and then midweek, there's nobody in the stands. That big Rosenblatt with the College World Series. So it just my voice echoed throughout the whole place, and I was just, the other team was like, yo, and I ended up getting suspended, about I don't know how many games, but I don't encourage nobody to ever curse their coach or anything like that. But the beauty of it was, if you could find a beauty in it, I was flying down. My parents have a home in Orlando, and that's where spring training used to be for the Royals, right outside of Orlando. So I had to go down there to suspended and work with the rookie ball players, but it gave me a chance to be with my mom, where we did find out it was cancer. It gave me a chance to be there in the hospital when we all found out as a family together that it was cancerous. The tumor, the knot that they found in the breast was cancerous. So, she was like, well, listen, there's a blessing that you're here with me. I didn't want it to be over these terms, but God works in mysterious ways. And, but she ended up beating it, and everything worked out for there. But that was kind of like the turning, it was early in my career, but it was like, I could tell you stories of my stories, but that was some of the issues that, really started piling up when it came to those Royals, little stuff behind the scenes, where, I just felt picked on. I felt like, um, you tell me I'm your man, but then you taking me out of games because you feel like I ain't running hard enough, and I used to just, used to just really, where I would keep everything. I'm cool, everybody like me, then I just blow up, and then I'm labeled a bad attitude. I'm labeled this, and where everybody who knows me know I'm not, but I just don't like to be messed with. I'm like, I used to tell the Royals, we want the same thing. I want to put up numbers. I want to have a long career. You want me to do that, so stop messing with me. Just let me have my numbers. Let me just, but you know how it is. You know how this game goes. It's just, the jabbing, a little bit here, there, see how mentally tough you are, see, what you can and can't handle. They ain't gonna try to lay it out, make it as easy as possible for you, which is fine. But to me, it was just like, yo, don't, you're treating me differently than you treat somebody else. And I understand I'm the first round pick and I'm this, but I don't want to be treated no different. If you're gonna take me, I'll take the other guy out too, the catcher who, ain't running 80% and I know he's not fast, but he's still jogging it. You know what I'm saying? So take him out just like you taking me out. So
Yeah, sometimes you feel like you're in, so you're a first round pick, expectations, everyone's eyeballs are on you. And so, yeah, I mean, playing hard is one thing, but also like, hey, we got to work together, right? So we can figure this out, right? If you invested this money in me, I talked to Jeff Bannister the other day, former major league manager, and we talked about how you can't really manage people the same way, right? There's everyone's different. They all have different stories, and we all evolve as people, right? Our experiences. So it's interesting how, number one, you were able to go see your mom and have that, that kind of special moment with her where, okay, everything's good, we're clear. maybe allowed you to take a step back. Did you kind of look at that as, you kind of put it into perspective at that point, right? You're like, okay, I am still playing a game. I want to do well. I know my
Right.
team wants me to do well.
Right. Right.
But at the end of the day, it's still a game.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was so, I was still feeling myself. I look back now, when you're 20, when I'm 27, 28, when we were playing with the Angels, I look back at that 20, 21-year-old Dee Brown, and I see the mistakes that I was making, right? And took things so personal, and, and wish that, I didn't care, but I didn't care would end up being, I didn't perform well on the field with that I don't care mentality. You know what I'm saying? And but everything kind of smoothed over the next year and two, but then so you have that foundation, but the injuries start. You know what I'm saying? Then I wasn't really hurting the minor leagues at all, and then I finally get my first full season up was in '01. I was 23. That was, I had 3 call-ups already, but '01 was my first full season doing well in the beginning, and then I pull a hammy, and I go back down to Florida in 2 months, and then your head starts, your mind starts talking to you, like, you're blowing your chance, you're blowing your opportunity, come on, D, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, and then, you keep telling that stuff in your head. And I look back now, as I'm older, and I was like, yo, if I just would have been like, like, yo, it's part of the game, just keep going. But at that time, I was out for about a little over a month and a half. But even when I got called back up when I came off the DL, I had plenty, I was playing every day, but I knew in my mind I wasn't totally healthy. So, I'm not totally healthy. I'm playing, and I'm struggling. I went from like hitting 280, 285 to like I tanked to hit to about 240 that year, right? Playing, and that August, September, I played pretty much every day. But I was in my head, and I was, while I'm playing, I'm like, oh, you're blowing it, instead of like the self-talk, you needed to be like positive, but I was every offer, oh man, they're gonna take you out, oh my God, you're blowing this, and I'm, it's just funny how this mind works. And it was like, man, and then it got to the point at the end of the season where I struggled, and the next year I found myself in AAA, where if now that I know, if I would have kind of had the right mindset of just being like, yo, dude, yeah, you may not be 100% like, yo, but you're fine. You know what I'm saying? You're fine. Just keep playing. Just keep whatever. Instead of telling myself, I'm blowing my chances. I'm blowing my chances, But it got to be that, and I can look back now and be like, yo, these are the mistakes I used to make. Self-talk is a big way how I used to talk to myself,
Mhm. Yeah, it's crazy how we beat ourselves up with the failure, right? And
Yes.
we especially like it's so, like I said, it's so funny how we had similar careers where it was small market teams,
Right.
first round picks, high expectations.
Right.
You're supposed to be there for 10 plus years.
Right. Right.
And then just the ups and downs of all that. And it sucks,
Yes.
to be frank, it sucks, it's
Yes.
because you want to do well so bad. And I don't know about you, but I think I got into mode of just, I tried so hard. And just I wanted to do it so bad that
Right.
it affected me from a hitting standpoint with plate discipline, being able to pick up pitches, things like that. You just kind of like, okay, well, that's not working, so
Right.
maybe I'll try the opposite and not care, and like to kind of, okay, now I'm going to be so relaxed that my hands will stay loose, and then I'll just react like I'm Paul Molitor or something, right?
Right.
But man, and then the reality is, what we're playing what is arguably the hardest game with hitting and doing the thing that's the hardest in sports
at the highest level.
Highest level against these guys like Rob Bell that are really good.
Right.
So it's tough, man, and it's I'm amazed at guys that figure it out and are able to really kind of put it together and make it look so easy that it's like, wow, how do you do that?
Yeah.
But it's interesting. So you've been so you played what, 16 years, you said, pro ball. You went to Japan. What was Japan like?
Japan was cool. It was I played on Seibu Lions, Saitama Seibu Lions, and it was love baseball, man. Never had to worry about fans, even on the road, booing you. They treat you like a rock star out there. Now you go through the same issues as far as the team wise. They don't want you to steal the limelight from the Japanese players, but they want you to be the star. You know what I'm saying? Like put up star type numbers. Don't be loud or anything. Let our Japanese guys be the star. You're just the help. They used to call us the guy. It was not the guy Jing. Not the guy Jing. I think it was the guy Jing. The help. It was this Japanese word for the help. You're the help. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hit homers and then go sit down.
Right? Yeah, right. Yeah, right. And so basically, that's how I was. But I went through. It was cool. Let me put it like this. It was an experience. I got to the point where my second year over there, we had some issues the end of my first year. I was pretty much blessed to have a second year to go play out there. I don't know if you remember back in 2011, they had the big earthquake tsunami over there. And, the nuclear plant, and it was just bad air. So we flew back to the States, and they didn't want us to fly back home. And so all the American dudes, lucky for me, I was the only guy that had like less than like 7-8 years on that, from American wise, on that team. I was only pretty much youngster as far as like years over there. Everybody else had 7, 8, 9, 10 years. They were like pretty much almost Japanese status because they've been playing out there so long. So, we all teamed up and was like, yeah, we go fly out together, meaning like we stand up to the team together. They can't release us all. You know what I'm saying? So we flew back to the States. I was here for about 3 weeks, continued to train. And when I came back from the States, back out there when the season started again, it wasn't the same, man. They gave me 8 ABs. They started sending me on the bench and talking about I need to go down to the minor leagues. And I was just like, I'm done with the minor leagues. I'm done with all. So I knew then, and I stayed that season. But I knew then, I was just like, yeah, the money is good, but excuse me, I'm done with baseball. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna finish this. I knew I was done. I was 33, and I was just like, let me finish out this year and let me just enjoy this professional season. Like I just wanted to enjoy it and don't worry about no pressure of numbers and have, because I knew it was my last year. So I was like, I've been doing this since I was 8 years old. Let me just, when I hit in batting practice, when I run the bases, when I put on that uniform, I just want to like, it was my own, you know what I'm saying? When the guys that travel around and it's like, it was my own way of giving myself my own flowers, you know what I'm saying? For the 16 years that I put in, you know what I'm saying? So my family like, oh, keep fighting. I was like, yeah, but in my heart, I was burnt out, man. I was done, you know what I'm saying? So, I came home, retired, and yeah, and never regretted. I mean, I was never one, I don't know how you felt, man. And I mean, I regretted the career that I didn't have, you know what I'm saying? Like I felt like I should have made 100 million, and I had all the talent and everything to do it. But the I didn't regret walking away at that time. You know what I'm saying? Like at that time, I did not regret walking away from the game. It was time. It was just time,
Yeah. No, I felt the exact same way. So I was telling you earlier in 2008, before you went to Japan, that was my last year I played, and we were in spring training together with the Angels.
Right.
And I was also from that point coming off of a labrum surgery. Out of the game for a little bit, was able to go play in independent ball for 1 year.
Okay.
Was able to come back and play. The Marlins signed me in 2007. Okay. Ended up with the Mets in New Orleans. And then after that, you're like, okay, then you're just a free agent again, right? You're like, well, crap, I need to get a job.
Right.
And then sometime around this time, November, October, November, the Angels called, and which was really cool for me because I'm like, okay, I know I'm coming back from an injury. You look at the team they have, they're like, okay, they're loaded. But if I go play in AAA, I'll be in Salt Lake, which is where a lot of my family.
Right.
And then you showed up, and when you're in that mode, right, you're looking, okay, who are they signing? Yeah. Dee Brown. I'm like, oh, sweet, dude, we're going to be teammates in AAA.
Right.
Kind of all these other people and look, guys you wanted to play with and never had the chance to, and but then I got let go in spring training. And I remember my folks and my wife had come out to Tempe, where in Arizona, where the Angels are.
Right.
to see me play, right,
Right.
in these games, and I just got released, and but it was
Wow.
that feeling of like like I'm out the door, right? I
Right.
like this is
Right.
it's been so hard to just get back to this spot. Uh,
Right. Right.
it's only a
Right.
few days left in spring training. I'm like, who's gonna want to
Yeah.
sign a 30-year-old beat up dude, right? But
How tough is that, man? Like, cause I dealt with, I didn't get dealt with release, but I got taken off the roster when my family flew out the day of. How did you deal with that, man? Cause I know at that day was tough. It was my birthday of all days too. It was my birthday. I got taken off the roster, and my family flying out, and it was like it was all the accumulation. It was like I don't want to celebrate my birthday at the time. I don't want to, whatever. But I did a little something. They tried to cheer me up as best they
yeah,
could. But how'd you deal with that, man?
for me personally, it was we had so much adversity throughout this whole ordeal and
Right.
career. At some point it is going to end, and when you are hurt and injured and trying
Right.
to come back, you're trying to keep that mindset on. Okay,
Mm,
I'm gonna get back there. Like my goal was to get back to the big leagues at that point, of course.
right. Right.
And then when you just see things happen, and I was what kind of did it for me. It was kind of more. It was part of that, the injuries, and then getting that opportunity. I actually signed to go play independent ball again. Um,
After you got released?
with Butch
For
Hobson.
the
Like
age?
2 weeks later, like, okay, well,
Okay.
let's go play again and do that and
Okay.
try
Okay.
to get back on again. And I was like,
Yeah.
but I was my wife was pregnant with our fourth child.
Oh wow.
And,
Gosh.
it was just like, you just kind of, I started praying about it, of course, and
Yeah.
making sure I'm doing the right thing. And
Yeah.
I ended up signing. And
Hmm.
then about a week later or so, I'm out working out at CSN, the local junior college here. And we did our little workout, and I'm kind of sitting down. I'm kind of just trying to get stretched out, and I'm just kind of sitting there looking around, and I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Right. Yep.
Like
Yep.
I'm good, right?
Right.
And
Right.
it kind of it was. I would say I went through a little bit of depression in regards
Yeah.
to that, because you're
Yeah.
like, well, now what the heck am I going to do?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I was also excited to be home with my kids, four
Right.
kids and my wife.
Yeah.
So that was
Right. Gosh.
extremely important.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it was hard. Though it was,
Yeah.
it's emotional. You're
Yeah.
like, God, because
Listen, I was ready. I was ready. I was talking about this. Gosh, who was I talking about this? I know I had the conversation with Rob a little bit. We got into a little bit in our the interview I had with him, but um, I was talking to somebody else behind the scenes. I was like, I was ready. Like I told you that April, I knew I was going to retire, and I still went through a two-year depression post baseball, like where I was like, I didn't want to see the game, didn't want to, be around it, didn't want to look at nobody on TV. I just, what I'm saying, like I was so burnt out and upset, and even though everybody, you and I, like I said, have very similar careers, so that window of us like making, all that money and all of that, it already had passed me 3 or 4 years earlier. You know what I'm saying? Where that free agency, and I was always arbitration eligible, and I just could never get on the field to put up the numbers to get arbitration. You know what I'm saying? Get to get some money, but that window had closed, so I already went through that feeling of like, as far as like being that multi-millionaire baseball player. I already, that window was closed, but when I retired, all those emotions again kind of was like of doing something and trying to figure out what the hell I was going to do. And I had this plan worked out. It was always like, I had this master plan that I had worked out when I came home, and I worked it to a little bit, but I didn't take into account those nights where I couldn't sleep, and the upset and the feelings and the emotion that was coming into all of this coming out of me and everything, where that plan kind of got sidetracked because of this, what I'm saying, and the feelings and depression that I was going through. So man, it was tough, man. But like I said, I was around my daughter. That was a main, that was the main thing that was very important to me at that time. I had a young daughter who was 3 turning 4, and the first couple years of her life, I was raising her in Zoom because they didn't come to me and with me out into Japan. So it was constantly daily talking to her on like this on Zoom, and and now I have the chance to really be around her, and she has the chance to be around me, and so that was important to me and stuff like that too. So that's what kept me going. Mhm.
Yeah, no doubt. That's really cool. Do you
Mhm.
wish, because we're about the same age, we're seeing a complete turnaround with Major League Baseball in regards to, actually working and being able to talk to somebody about the mental game, and just mindset, and how bad it sucks to go down from the big leagues or go from double A to single A because it's like a drops down and oh,
Yeah.
you need a roster spot now, you need to go to A ball. Every team has these major league mental skills coaches. Did
Yep.
you ever go talk to anybody about your struggles through all that?
No. We have. I remember we hired Dr. Carr. He's with the Packers now, and um, we hired him my '03. So maybe my third year in the big leagues, and he cool dude, but I was like, there's no way I'm gonna talk to this dude because he's hired by the Royals. So whatever I tell him, I feel like he's gonna go right back and tell
Right.
those front office. And I was really going through some heavy during I was, I'm telling you stuff in the beginning side, but during that major league career, I was going through a lot mental stuff, mental ups and down, depressions and stuff while I was playing. Didn't know, you know what I'm saying, but until I went the off season, I finally sat down with somebody and he told me like, yo, this is what you're suffering from. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, damn, but I couldn't have that conversation with that mental doctor or, the sports psychologist because I was afraid. I was
Yeah.
afraid that he was going to go and tell the Royals and they were, it's that manly thing and it's that, you're not an athlete. You're not, you got to deal with this mental side of the game because, everybody got to go through it. You're considered a mentally weak player if you're sitting down and talking about your problems and stuff like that. And they're going to go back and talk to the Royals, and the Royals are going to label you as like you can't hack it. You know what I'm saying? And all of that was time. That's why I was like, yo, I'll tell you, yeah, you need help. No, let's sit down. Oh, okay, yeah.
Good.
Yeah, no chance I would talk to him.
Yeah.
No.
And
And I
it's
like the guy. Real cool
and
guy.
it's interesting, right? And that's how I wish I had somebody like that to go through.
Mm-hmm.
But there was also that exact same side, like, dude, this guy's gonna tell the GM, he's gonna tell the whoever, the manager, all these people that make the decisions to put me in the lineup or not. Like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we can't put this guy in the lineup. Like
Right.
he's not right mentally.
Right.
Um, which is, I think that's where things are changing, where now that the teams are actually employing these people,
Yep.
and I don't know what the confidentiality is,
Mm-hmm.
with,
Right.
hey, and I'm pretty sure from my understanding, it's like, hey, dude, whatever you tell me, it's between you and me. So
Right.
I think
Right.
they put the trust in these guys to help with the athletes now. So
Right.
I think that's where the game has definitely made a great change,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
and all that stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
now you're dealing. So now we were past our playing career, 16 years. You played in Japan. Now you have is it a travel organization that you do, a club teams and stuff like that?
I did. I did do that. But I don't have the teams no more. But I was telling you 2 years ago. I mean, I've had multiple businesses. Post baseball, real estate, trucking, and the the online training space, baseball. I got into that maybe about 5 years ago after I got into the youth baseball space, and I just started seeing stuff that's on the internet that I didn't like. That was being taught to these parents. I mean, taught to these kids, and parents are buying into this fake gurus, hitting gurus and stuff. And I started dealing with my own doubts and stuff like, oh, what are my big league friends like Chad Hermansen and stuff? What would they think if they see Dee Brown online teaching hitting? And oh my God, like Dee's one of these internet guys. Oh my God, I was thinking all this stuff in my head. So I kind of chilled for about a year and a half of not doing. I had all these ideas of what I was going to do hitting wise and stuff like that because I was tired of seeing what I was seeing. Because now I'm in the youth baseball space. When I first retired, I was like, I'm not gonna do nothing baseball. I'm like, no way, whatever.
You're
But
getting away from it
uh,
all, right?
yeah, I'm right. And it was, what it was, Chad. It was one time I spoke at a high school. I was in Memphis, Tennessee. I retired. I was in Memphis, Tennessee at the time, and in a nice suburb of Memphis. And I had met a guy at the gym the year before, and he was um, he got he became the assistant principal of pretty much the nicest um, area in Memphis, and that school, that high school. He was like, "D, it's nice, but we got some knuckleheads, man. I want you to talk to him." Because the year before, I was like, "Listen," he was at a vocational school, like all bad kids, and I was like, "Let me go down and talk to him." You know what I'm saying? And maybe, we do some camps and stuff. Again, I wasn't doing nothing with baseball, but in my mind, I was like, "Man, maybe I could help one or two kids that are roughneck, rough around the edges, and introduce them to the game of baseball. And hey, you may get an athlete or something out of the mix." So that's why I met him the year before. Never fell out of contact, and then um, it was one. I just remember Memorial Day. It was a Martin Luther King Day. I remember I was just like, let me call him and see what's going on. I called him. He's like, "D, man, what happened to you? I was looking for," and I was like, "Man, I'm here. My bad." And so he was like, "Man, I'm not at that school, but I'm at this school. I would love to you just speak with so and so over here." I spoke with a bunch of knucklehead kids at that high school, and the high school, the coaches introduced me. I mean, her. I was talking, met me outside of the hallway. It was like, "Hey, why don't you come around and just talk to our boys? Baseball is about to start up, and we got a really good team. Blah 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 blah." So I was like, so I kind of went in and volunteered, and one day, and just when I was talking at the cages and just talking, and you just saw the eyes looking at you, and it was like, as I'm talking, I'm like, "Dude, why haven't you been doing this? What is, you
Mm.
know, so kind of selfish in your own feelings and thoughts, man. These kids are looking at you, man. Like, you got all this knowledge, man, and they just soaking up as I'm talking, I'm thinking of all of these, I'm just seeing these eyes looking up at me, like, just listening to me. And I was just like, dude, man, you're not in the professional ball with these kids. They're all high school kids, but I'm like, this is your locker room now. You know what I'm saying? This is your way of kind of being around the guys now. And that's when I started volunteering at the high school and coming around more and more and more, to the point a year, maybe about 4 months later, 3 months later, I started getting into youth travel baseball team. I started coaching youth baseball teams, started at 12-year-old teams, and then with an organization, then I started my own program and jumped up to about 9 teams. In September last year, I kind of dispersed those, but at that time I was doing my online show and bringing on college coaches and stuff like that, and doing online trainings and stuff like that. So, it's been like the last, like I said, 5 or 6 years, I've been in the youth baseball space in some part. But no, I don't have. As I sit here right now, I do not have teams right now, but I do showcases and help kids. Main thing right now, I've been helping kids get into schools, and with the connections I've been making through my show with the college coaches and stuff like that, it's been really it's been really fulfilling for me.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
and tell us about your show. You do a live Facebook week almost daily, Monday through Friday. Tell us about your
Mhm.
show.
Yeah, man, it's called the Dee Brown Show. It's on Facebook and YouTube, Dee Brown Baseball on YouTube, Dee Brown Baseball, and on Facebook. And you it's we I bring on all type of guests, ex big leaguers like yourself, to well, you haven't been on it yet, but you'll be on it, and um major league coaches. And we really have tailored the program the last over a little over a year now, um to college coaches. We've had I've had over 100 interviews with college coaches from Power Five schools, the SECs, to Big Ten, to junior colleges. And the reason I brought the college coaches on, because that at the time when I first started, we had you and I both drafted out of high school. I was a football player. I know. I don't can't. Where were you going to go to school? Where were you going to go
I
to
started
school?
with Miami.
Wow, right. Total Thomas and them boys over there, man. So, so you were gonna go to Miami, but you got drafted first round. I was gonna go to Maryland and play football, but I got drafted first round. So, my recruiting for baseball per se was a lot different from most of these college, these kids that were in my program at the time. So the parents are asking me all these college coaches. I had to remember, like, I had to go back and think, like, man, I got to think about college, because everything I'm thinking when I'm training these kids is like, yo, dude, don't you want to get drafted like I did? But I had to remember, like, what we were able to do, what I'm saying? 99% of these kids would never get a chance to get drafted, at all. I'm not gonna say 99, but it's close to that number. And definitely not in the first round, right? So I had to think about when we were in high school to be like, man, when we were in high school, we were just, we were thinking college first, get that college thing out the way. Then, so I had to bring myself back to the college side. So when the parents are asking me these questions, I didn't know. I didn't know the answers. And I was like, yo, I can't lie to these parents like and act like I know when I don't know these recruiting questions and stuff like that. So I was like, I knew a couple of my boys, we played with and friends of mine, and I was like, they're at college. And so I called out a couple of my guys and said, listen, man, I do this little, show on Facebook, man, and I got parents from around the country that are listening in, man. I'm like, they're asking me these, questions. I was like, I think it'd be a good way for you to market your school. You know what I'm saying? And you help me. I get to learn literally online, just like the parents do. So I brought them on. One coach, came on to two, and I had LIU Brooklyn. I've known him since he was a pipsqueak around my way in New York, and he was the head coach at LIU Brooklyn, and then the head coach of Boston College was my Legion teammate, my Legion Ball teammate. So he came on, and then all of a sudden I was just like, let me start trying to get more guys on it. And then 100 coaches or so later, it's been cool. I've learned everything I needed to learn with hundreds of hours worth of college, recruiting questions and stuff like that. And it's turned into helping these kids around the country get into schools, man. So it's been very, that's been a fulfilling thing too, man. So yeah, I'm now do showcases. I just came from Waco, Texas this past weekend, where we run showcases, and I do the live streaming aspect of it with the whole COVID thing with these coaches and stuff. So they appreciate the fact that I'm at least getting them in front of some kids, what I'm saying, to see why they're home and can't really go out and recruit the D1 school. So yeah, it's been really fulfilling. So that's what I do now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's awesome. And if if a parent or somebody's watching this show, and your page it's a fan page, like a business page where they can join.
Right.
Is that right? Or
Right.
like it.
Yep.
And
Yep.
what's that called for them so they can join that?
Yeah. So if they on Facebook, it's Dee Brown Coaches Athletes. It's D Coaches Athletes. Facebook at D Coaches Athletes. But if you did just go DEE Brown Baseball, if you look it up on Facebook through your search engine, you'll see my page pull up, and you can just ask to join the private Facebook group, or my fan page, where you could just like that, and you can see the interviews that I have on this week. I'm gonna try to get Chad on there. I'm trying to get I don't know if you ever played against Quincy Carter. Remember old Quincy Carter played football and baseball with the Cowboys? Yeah, Quincy got drafted I think he got drafted your year, if I'm not saying. It might have been one of our years. Anyway, long story short, he ended up, turning, he was a two-sport guy, one of those guys where they were going to pay him to play, and then he was going to quarterback at Georgia, in the off seasons and stuff. But he ended up walking away from the game of baseball and became the Dallas Cowboys quarterback. Was a kind of Cowboy quarterback for about 3 or 4 years. This is pre Tony Romo, right around Chad Hutchinson. You remember Chad Hutchinson?
Oh,
remember
yeah.
Chad?
Sure.
Yeah. So right around that time, and so he reached out to me, man, and so I'm gonna try to get him on. And we got a Mississippi College Division II school coming in this week. So we bring on. Last week we had Northwestern, Big Ten school over there. Had the first black Power 5 coach ever. You know what I'm saying? He was on the, yeah, so it was cool, man. You get to learn the guys behind the scenes and stuff. Kind of what you're doing. You're bringing on the Maddox and Hall of Famers and stuff. I ain't had no Hall of Fame on mine yet. You know what I'm saying? So
I brought out the big gun. A few episodes. I think I said in my intro. I'm like, I don't think it gets probably bigger than this.
Right.
Greg Maddox today.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I was like, yo, that's you're right. I mean, who gets to interview a Hall of Famer, man? That's awesome, man. So I
you know what I learned about him too, and
what's that?
And I think it's because he's a friend, but and maybe you've had the experience too, because the way I've gone about my show too is people like my stuff and they pay attention, or they comment. I'm like, hey, dude, you want to be on? And they're like, sweet, I'd love to be.
Right.
Greg had no idea what I was doing, nor why should he. But what was so cool, and if you know Greg, he's like, he has no ego, right? It's just like, I'll help you out, whatever you don't help me. And I'm like, and you notice that with, there's certain, and we know, like, there's just big leaguers that like, I'm not gonna, you're a
Right.
peasant. Like, why would I
Right.
talk to you? Right.
Right. Yeah, I've gotten big league by so-called some of my boys. And I'm talking about recently too. Big league. Yeah, 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 do it. And then I'm like,
It
crickets when it's
happens.
time to do it. And it's like, and they leave me hanging. But I'm
Yeah.
like, there's been
Yeah.
other big leaguers that have come through, So
Yeah.
yeah.
It's all good. And people have their reasons, right? Too.
Right. Right.
But man, this is great. So yeah, I hope if you're a parent, make sure if you're looking for recruiting advice and info, I'll be scrolling through Facebook. I'm like, yeah, there's D again doing live, and it's just all day, every day almost. It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
I just try to get these content out there and
yeah,
feed these parents. It's um just like what you're doing now, man. You know, sometimes it's a daunting task, to because there's a lot of free information and free time that I'm giving and stuff. But the comments that I get back, the love that I get back, it's like, man, I love the information that you're giving us, man. Man, thank you so much, D. And it's just the pounding of it's like because I get family members of mine and friends of mine like, man, why you do that every day, man? Damn, man, like you don't get paid for this, nah. And I'm like, nah. I'm like. But I see a bigger picture. But I do the showcases and I see the following, the parents, and when they're telling me, hey, thank you so much, and the information you're giving, oh my God, what I'm saying, to help me make this decision that we got into this school, and I thought about what you said in this episode, and it's like that's what this is about. You know what I'm saying? Where sometimes I could get blinded by man, I gotta do this, but it's fulfilling to me, man. Very
absolutely.
fulfilling to me.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
you're making an impact. You're giving, basically free content out to people, and again, the comments and hey, thank you so much. Like that goes a long way because it's hard work. I had a gentleman tell me, he's like, dude, I really appreciate all the because I'm turning mine when I do my podcast here or
Right.
YouTube channel. This is an interview here.
Right.
I circle back and go do the audio for the podcast. So
And
it's
you
like
do you just ship the whole thing up to the to a transcriber and do it, or do
I do
you?
it's all myself.
Good for
Yeah,
you.
right
Yeah,
now.
I got
So
to get to that point, man.
I'm in a, I mean, with not working with the Angels anymore, I'm in a position
Yeah,
to do that,
but
but
still, yeah,
it's hard work. It takes a long time.
yeah, because you got clients, you're helping kids, and with the mental approach, and what you got going on, and then the shows, and so it gets to be like I'm at that point now where the showcases and the online trainings, and I got kids that are in my program right now that I help get into school, and that's a paid program, and
Yeah.
it's like trying to you know do all of that, and then I made the mistake where I kind of let these videos pile up on me without taking this and that. So I was just doing this morning while I was at working out at the gym, and just like listening to the interview and like, okay, this tip from there, that's a great tip here, and I'm trying to from 10 minutes to 12 minutes here, a great tip, like I got to get somebody to do that for me. Yeah, no
Yeah,
doubt about
no, it's when you're rolling and you're able to eventually get that out to somebody else. That's
it. Yeah,
ideal. That's what
yeah,
everyone
yeah,
says, but
yeah,
you got to
yeah.
start somewhere, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's great what you're doing, man. I like I said, I've saw your first, I see what you're posting and the mental side of training. I think that's dope. I think that is so needed. I talked to my daughter about that. You and I both know that, the athletic side of things is one thing, the skills and all of that, but that the mental side of it, man, is everything. Especially the higher level you go. So anything that could be talked about and kind of you know, I tell you about the couple parents that reached out to me about, and their kid is D1 caliber kids, and they're like, you need to have a mental coach on here, D. You know what I'm saying, to talk about that stuff, man. And I do like the fact that these teams and stuff are hiring, and then people are talking about it. The Brandon Marshalls, the I think your boy Kevin Love talked about his issues with his mental health issues and stuff, and I think it's good that people are up and about talking about it now. Where when we were playing, we knew guys that kind of hinted and had it, but excuse me, we kind of it was kind of like behind the scenes type of thing, and I'm telling you, I was scared to tell my guy, what I'm saying, anything that I was going through.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's good. And you
So,
you did say you have some online training. When can our audience find that out?
yeah, so if they go to bigleagueshortcuts.com, and also like I said, if I got a big free webinar, man, I'm glad and we're gonna do this December 8th. 8 p.m. Now they have to go and private message me on my Facebook page because I have the post up already, but I'm going to repost it and they're going to probably start seeing it on a national level. That post on this free webinar, December 8th, 8 p.m., where I'm going to discuss how to pick the right travel bowl organization. And it kind of leads into, how to get into the whole college baseball scene, but picking the right travel bowl organization. So 8 p.m., December 8th, having a Eastern time, I'm having a free webinar where I'm going to discuss how to pick the right travel bowl organization. So you have to go to that fan page again. You have to private message me and just say you're interested. And I will send you the information that leading up to it. It's going to be a private Facebook group that I'm going to invite you to, where I'm going to be hosting this free training for that. So if your listeners are listening to that, please, if you're interested, and I know most kids are in this travel ball industry, and and if you think that's the end all, how to get to college and how to get pro and all of that, you probably need to listen to this webinar.
Take a listen.
yeah, that's it. Just listen to. And again, this is something that I'm excited leading into the training aspect of it. It's going to be should be a nice little group that's going to be in there, and parents. We have parents from ages 8, 10 years old all the way through during high school. It's kind of catered towards the high school because it's travel organization through high school, but I think a lot of you junior high and kids and lower need to know which organization, because sometimes you chase names and chase different organizations. I already know Vegas. I'm sure there's a lot of big time travel ball organizations because it's a great baseball great baseball city with a lot of history behind it. So, it'd be a good way of getting a little bit more education in this free webinar. So, yeah, look me up on that.
Absolutely, I'll put that in the show notes for us and make
appreciate
sure you time for that.
No doubt about it.
I appreciate it. I know you got a show coming up today,
but
I appreciate your time, and hopefully we're on too soon. And you're out in Georgia?
Yeah, right? I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, man. I'm in the ATL, man, and moved back here after I used to live here while I was playing with the Royals. I lived out here and moved away, and I got back last year. So yeah, I've been out here, man, in ATL, Georgia, man. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. All right, brother. Well, I appreciate your time again, and best of luck to you with your showcase and your with all the stuff you're doing and helping kids. And it's fun, it's impactful, and I appreciate all the hard work you put in for our parents and players regarding the recruiting side too. It's a lot of hard work, and but I appreciate you, man.
No, I appreciate you, Chad. Thank you for having me on, man. And I'll see you on my side,
Absolutely. We'll switch it up.
In my hood in a little bit. You know what I'm saying? We'll get you on, man, into this week. All right, brother?
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate it, Dee. We'll talk to you later.
All right, man. Take care, Chad. Thanks, bro.
Hey, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed that conversation with Dee. Awesome dude, right? He's got a great story, and he just has a passion for helping kids now, right? He had the adversity that a lot of us have going through life, going through the ups and downs of minor league baseball to the major leagues. And now he's got this Facebook page. So look up Dee Brown and Dee Brown Baseball. Make sure you join that. Check out the webinar that he's doing on December 8th. That free webinar is for those that are looking to basically pick the right travel ball team. Okay, so I really thank Dee for coming on. He's going to have me on his show, hopefully at the end of this week, he was saying. So that should be a lot of fun. And then want to make you aware that I am coaching athletes one-on-one. If you are interested in me working with your son or your daughter on the mental game, building their confidence, building their self-image, I'm going to have an online program. You can, that's my first option. You can check that out at mentaledge.training. But if you're looking to get more that serious one-on-one work done with your athlete, email me at chad@mentaledge.coach. From there, we're going to have a free 20 to 30 minute consultation. I want to get to know you. I want to get to know your athletes, what their specific goals are, and to see if it's a good fit for us to work together. And we'll start working on that, start hammering out and basically, working on them building their confidence and their belief in themselves. So again, I appreciate you joining the show today, and I will see you in the next episode. Take care.